Competition is the fuel that ignites innovation. Sam Simon. Competition creates a sense of needing to be the best, and by being the best, it means that there is a need to serve the best services. With universal health care, everyone could be receiving the same care even if a person doesn't need it, or if said persons needed even better care than what can be provided by the single-payer system. Also, competition leads to further research towards a cause and the strive to be a more adequate source of information over others. For this reason, I must negate the resolution that the United States ought to guarantee universal health care to its citizens. For clarification, the terms I will use in this resolution are as follows. Guarantee. To provide without a doubt as a promise. Universal health care. Health care that is provided for a peoples of one nation that is paid for by a single payer. Citizen. The people of one nation unified under one government. My value for the debate is that of societal well-being. Societal well-being is defined as the state of a society in success or unhealthy failure. How can a society be successful if its ways of being in good nature are thrown out or abandoned for a concept in which it has survived all of its years in its time functioning in success without said concept? My first contention is that universal healthcare is not free. My first contention is that universal healthcare is not free. The proposed idea of universal healthcare portrays it as free healthcare. This is not necessarily true. One must assume that if the government has to pay more, the people have to pay more. As said by healthcaremanagementdegree.net, there are many different organizations that have estimated the cost of this type of health program if it was enacted for every citizen, especially since the percentage of citizens approving the idea has increased dramatically. The Urban Institute estimated that a single-payer health system would cost an additional $32 trillion over the next decade. In addition to what the country already pays for Medicare, most other organizations estimated roughly the same. The cost numbers ranging from 2.4 to 2.8 trillion per year. This is an extra $8,436 per person in the United States, as our population is about 331 million people. My second contention, universal health care will decrease the quality of care. Universal health care will decrease the quality of care. About 800 million people globally still do not have access to full financial coverage of essential health services. The World Health Organization created a universal healthcare cube that identifies 3 dimensions of universal healthcare, being population, which is the people who are covered, the services that are covered, and the direct costs, the portion of costs that are covered. Absent from the cube, and explicitly absent from the cube, is that of quality of care. This article proves that although universal healthcare provides free healthcare for its citizens, it does not mean that the quality of care is improved. In conclusion, negating the resolution shows to be more efficient and the more effective way to keep the core values of our great nation of the United States intact. Not only does universal healthcare prove to be a threat to our nation's freedom and security, but it also shows to be more harmful to the people occupying a country that provides universal healthcare. Arthur C. Clarke once said, "You can't have it both ways. You can't have both free will and a benevolent higher power who protects you from yourself." Now, my opponent's value was that of equality. In an article that I found, it states that let's say Canada has a universal healthcare insurance system. It doesn't cover every single person, because the people of this article wrote that the homeless people in Canada under that universal healthcare system can still find trouble accessing these cares because they cannot pay for the financial burden that this healthcare system brings onto them. Also, it's also about access. In Canada, there is many indigenous populations, even in a public funded country, where their infant mortality rates compared to are way higher than people who are in the access net of the universal healthcare system in Canada. Her second contention was saying that it reduced financial burdens. Again, I bring up the fact of the homeless people in Canada were still unable to afford the increased taxes that the universal healthcare system brings on to them. The third contention is that she said it would have a higher quality of life. Saying that her value was equality, it's saying that she said that the people were entitled to a higher standard of healthcare. And when she says entitled, it's saying one person is better than the other person because they are allowed to have a better care than another person. Now that goes against exactly what she said about equality. The only way that people, this article that I have says that it doesn't mean if you have a universal healthcare system, this does not improve the higher quality of life. It actually says that in a country with universal healthcare, the majority has a poor quality of care, and if it were to be provided to the U.S. as a universal healthcare system, the people would, all of the services that they provide in a universal healthcare system, if it were implemented in the U.S., would drop the quality of care over everyone because it only has one system of healthcare. In my value of societal well-being, I feel is way more important than equality. Because if you don't have the well-being of society, how can people be equal to each other if their nation is not able to provide them with a safe, secure state of mind and well-being overall?
Yeah, anything else? Because you could also say, hey, can I finish my point here?
That's all.
I love it. Great stuff there. Again, no clapping, even though it's so good. He attacked